Mark Ellis had lived in the same suburban neighborhood for 10 years. Quiet streets. Dogs barking at delivery trucks. Sprinklers ticking in the morning sun. The kind of place where people waved even if they didn't know your name. When Jack Rahal moved in, people noticed. He was tall, well-built, maybe in his late 30s. Military haircut. Drove an old pickup. Kept to himself. But people respected that he was an army man. A veteran. A hero, the landlord said. But Mark was the first to really see behind the uniform. It started on a cold October night. Mark had gone out to take the trash. That's when he saw Jack in his front yard. Standing barefoot in the grass, staring into the sky. His lips were moving. Whispering something. Mark took a step closer. "You good, man?" Jack blinked and looked over slowly. "They are still there. In the sand." Mark didn't know what he meant. But something about Jack's eyes froze him. They weren't just tired. They were haunted. Jack turned and walked back inside. Chapter 2, a door left open. 2 days later, Mark's wife, Heather, said their back gate had been left open. "Maybe the wind," Mark said. But that night, he heard footsteps outside. Heavy, slow, like boots on gravel. When he looked out the window, nothing. Then the next night, the footsteps came again. And in the morning, on their doorstep, was a small desert rock. Just one. Perfectly round. Heather thought it was a prank. Mark thought it was a message. He picked up the rock and looked across the street. Jack was in his driveway, wiping down his truck. He didn't wave. Just looked up once and nodded. Chapter 3, Whispers in the Dark. Mark knocked on Jack's door. It creaked open. Inside, the lights were dim. The place smelled of oil, metal, and old coffee. On the wall were photos, platoons, flags, medals. But one photo sat alone on the table. A young Afghan boy. Smiling. Jack sat in the corner, cleaning a pistol. "You hear them too?" Mark's throat dried. "What do you mean?" "The boots. The whispers." "The past," Jack said, wiping the barrel. "I think someone's coming to your house." Mark said, unsure why he was telling him. Jack looked up. "He's not coming to my house. He's coming to me." Mark wanted to leave, but stayed. Jack leaned forward. "You believe in ghosts?" Mark gave a nervous chuckle. "Not really." "You will." Chapter 4, The Truth Comes Out. 3 weeks later, Mark invited Jack over for dinner. Heather wasn't thrilled, but agreed. Jack was quiet at first. Ate slowly. Listened to Mark's daughter talk about school. But when dessert came, he spoke. "There was a man," Jack said. "A father. Just like you." Heather froze mid-bite. "In Helmand Province," Jack went on, "we were ordered to clear a village. Intel said Taliban were hiding weapons. But we didn't find weapons. We found kids. Women. One man, he stood up too fast. I shot." Silence. Even the fork stopped. "He was holding a loaf of bread," Jack whispered. "Not a gun." Mark swallowed hard. "I buried him behind the compound. My commanding officer said forget it. He shouldn't have moved." Heather's eyes welled up. "But I didn't forget. His son saw it all." Mark leaned in. "The boy in the picture?" Jack nodded. "That boy. Found me on social media. Last message I got, 'I'm coming.'" Then silence. Chapter 5, The Letter. A week later, a letter arrived in Jack's mailbox. There was no stamp. No return address. Just a single line written in thick black ink. "You'll feel what he felt." Jack took the letter straight to Mark. "You think he's here?" Mark asked. "I think he's close," Jack said. "He's watching." Mark's instincts kicked in. He installed cameras. Motion lights. But nothing ever showed up. Until one night. Chapter 6, Caught on Camera. It was 3:17 a.m. when the backyard sensor tripped. Mark checked the feed. There on the edge of the camera view was a figure. Slim, hoodie pulled up. Standing still. Staring at Jack's house. No movement. No sound. Mark hit record. But when he stepped outside, the figure was gone. They reviewed the footage. Jack leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "That's him," he whispered. "The son." "How do you know?" "I just do." Chapter 7, The Showdown. That night, Jack stood outside his house. No weapon. Just a flashlight. Mark watched from his porch, heart racing. Then movement. A figure appeared, walking slowly from the trees. It was the boy. Older now, maybe 20. But the eyes were the same as the photo. Jack didn't move. The boy walked up to him and said something too low for Mark to hear. Then he pulled out a knife. Mark shouted and ran over. "Stop." The boy turned. Jack raised his hands. "It's okay, Mark." Chapter 8, Forgiveness or Punishment. Jack sat on Mark's porch as dawn broke. "I should have gone to prison," he said. "You followed orders," Mark replied. Jack looked away. "That's no excuse for taking an innocent life." Mark handed him coffee. "Maybe it's not about punishment. Maybe it's about making it right." "How do you fix a dead man?" Jack asked. Mark thought. "By helping the one still breathing." Weeks passed. The boy never came back. But Jack didn't return to his silence. He started a foundation for civilian victims of war. Mark helped him build it. They spoke in schools. Shared the truth. The pain. The responsibility.